What is up, Scrub fam? Today I have Isaiah and Neil. Neil just coming off of a second place finish with Toa. We'll get into it a little bit later, but this is the first episode of the podcast. I hope you guys all enjoy, and please do subscribe to the channel and check out where it's going to be on Castbox. You can download it and you can take it with you on the go to work, stuff like that. So, yeah, you guys want to introduce yourself?
Well, I guess I'll go. My name is Isaiah. Part of Team Dabbers, and uh, yeah, I mean, I'm just a scrub, a scrub. That's all.
And my name is Neil. Like you said, I got second place at the latest Richmond Regional using TOA. Also part of Team Dabbers, and yeah,
And if I'm
also
not
scrub.
Yeah, if I'm not, I was just gonna say, if not mistaken, you're one of the Scrub fam.
Definitely,
Oh yeah.
scrub fam is best
So
fam.
Isaiah says he's a scrub, but he bodied me in Charlotte. Ugh, I felt so bad. But I didn't even know what that deck
Look,
did, in
man.
all honesty. So wait, funny story.
Look, man.
Can I talk about the hit play I did?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I don't want to do this for too long, but this is the fastest time I've scooped my cards up ever in my entire life.
Oh
I
yeah.
was playing uh Blue Red Gogeta Ramp.
Gogeta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I play a hit and
That
look
makes
at his
sense.
hand and I see four power bursts.
Yeah. I think my
and
hand
I,
was
I'm
like four power
I
bursts
think it was a
and
Demigra
like
secret
two
rare.
balls or something.
I think there was
Oh
a
yeah.
Demigra secret rare. It was four power bursts and a Demigra. I was like, yeah, I don't want
Oh,
this
so
game.
so so this is the Kid Q deck.
Yeah, I was like,
This is a Charlotte.
yeah, where he got
Oh yeah,
second
that
place.
was a yeah. He like played hit, and my hand was like Demigra, like two 4-star balls and like four power bursts, and I
That
was just
is
like, I'm
so
so
gross.
sorry.
That
It
is
was,
so
it
Like,
was
and
after
gross.
his Zeno
but
too. I was like, no way.
yeah, no, he had like 14 or 15 cards in hand, but I had like 8 battle cards, so he chain Zenoed me, and my hand was straight gas.
Yeah, it was bad. It was an awful experience, but it's just funny. I love telling this story.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so talking to them a little bit previously before recording this, and Isaiah talked about how him and Neil worked on the deck a lot. So do you guys want to give some information on Toa, your thought process going into it, kind of the twists and turns,
Um.
the journey along making
Funny,
the deck?
funny little story. The deck actually started off because we wanted to try out the 13 chain.
The
Oh yeah,
13
yeah,
engine?
That's how the deck started. Is
yeah,
like we started off as like, hey, we read these 13 cards. We like, oh,
yeah.
there's something here. This has to be fire, right? And so we tested it out with like 17 lead. I was like, all right, this is not working. So like one day, it's not just me and Isaiah. It's me, Isaiah, and
Yeah.
our other teammates. So I go over. He's like, wait a minute. This set four mirror leader is is a self awakener. That's just
Oh
what we
yeah.
need, right? And so we put
Oh
the deck
yeah.
together, putting a 13 chain and the mirror chain, and like the 13 chain just wasn't working, but the mirror chain is
Yes.
fire.
Oh man, like we like that 13 chain, like it ran into so much barrier, so it just wasn't working. But I was like, man, I'm winning all of my games with like the mirror chain. So let's just figure this out.
And
But
so we decided to give Toa a try, even though everybody was convinced that the leader doesn't do anything because it doesn't draw. But I mean,
yeah,
it worked out in the end. It's like we realized, like, oh man, this
yeah,
deck is the stones.
yeah, like most of the games I would say like that I was playing on Untap, I think I went through like maybe 4 or 5 different versions. Like I was going like every single day. I was sending them like a new revised version of the deck
Hmm.
every single day.
And then I would look at it and I'm just like, I'm not sure how this would work, but this is actually pretty cool. And it was just like a back and
Yeah,
forth process until we found something we really liked.
yeah. Like I think because I got a top 8 with Toa in what was it
Was it the
Ohio?
Columbus? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I got top 8 with Toa, and I was playing like roughly like something close to what Neil played and got second.
I
We just
only
didn't bring all the
yeah.
cards with us.
Right. I think I only really changed like 3 4 cards off of the initial build that you played,
Yeah,
and honestly, most of those cards came from the Demeter deck that I already had built. It's just like most of those
exactly.
cards was like, all right, we take out these cards and we stuff in these 12 mirror cards, and it was
Yeah,
basically the list.
that was basically it.
Huh. That's interesting. I know you had a really tough time, Isaiah, figuring out what to play for Ohio, and
Oh yeah,
you just decided you're like, "Ah, I'm just gonna play Toa. You know what? Forget it." And then yeah.
yeah, because it was like so. The funny part is like that morning, I kept asking them to build like Kid Ku stuff, but they just gave me Toa, and I
Okay,
was like, all right, like I sleeved up the whole deck, and then they showed me all of the Kid Ku cards that I could have used, and I'm just like, you guys are douchebags.
Wow.
we really
Yeah.
didn't want you to play Kid Q because you wanted to play some weird, like
Oh yeah.
out there Kid Q build. It's like stop.
Oh yeah, I was gonna play like some like red green like combo arrival stuff. Like I was going straight trash can.
You even, I think at one point in one of the chats I'm in with you, you said you were gonna play set one Vegeta. I was like, oh boy. It's like this weekend
Yeah,
might be
like
really interesting.
dude, I didn't know what I was going to play that weekend, but yeah, so it just worked out for me. And then I think Neil actually, funny enough, was gonna take Kid Ku at first, and then I was like, no man, just play Toa.
So the same
And then
thing,
I was like, all right, I got this.
the same thing they
Yeah.
did to you did to him, basically.
Well, yeah, basically, like, cause the only thing that we did was like the cards that we ended up changing from my version to his, like we just collabed on it and worked out like just certain card numbers and ratios, and that was
Right.
really it.
How?
Because the list was already pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you take any inspiration from Peter's list, Zap's list? I know Zap put out a list.
Oh
Like
yeah.
any
And I
inspiration?
know Thomas.
Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Thomas played it at
uh,
I
AC.
mean,
uh,
yeah.
when it comes to those lists, the main I did watch Zaps, him building the deck, and the main thing that I took away was he brought out this calculator saying it's like, oh, I want to make sure I have 85% chance of hitting a card off of the Toa, and I'm just like, you know what, 85 is not
Yeah.
good enough. We gotta bump this up to 90.
Yeah, like I think
That
like
was the
we
main
I was
takeaway.
yeah, like when I mean being honest with you, it's really hard to say inspiration wise because I think probably the only real inspiration was the number of Toas that was played in both players' decks. Because like I was bouncing around from like the one drop being like really good and then realizing it's like complete trash.
Right.
And
And when it comes to like Gatani, I didn't really look at his Toa list, but I definitely took inspiration from his Demigra list because the moment that he topped with that, I just took that deck, ran with it, and just like made it as best as I could, and then we just switched that right over into Toa.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cause like the one drop Toki Toki package into the regulator Vegeta is just too good not to play.
So yeah, that's so good.
Oh yeah. I remember
But
it was the AC Invitational, and it was team. It was the day before team. It was Thursday, and Peter was hanging out playing Argent, and I went up to him, and he was talking about the Toa deck, and I was like, I saw Zap's list, and he's like, no, 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 let me show you my list, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. It's like big guy over
yeah.
here. And then he
Oh
showed it. He showed
like
it to me, and he was like telling me all the card choices and like, explaining everything. And I was like, "Bro, this is insane." And he was supposed to team with us the next day, and then he wasn't anymore. And I was like,
hmm
I messaged him. I was like, "Yo, let me borrow this deck for Team Wars. I want to play it so bad." And he didn't get back to me in
like
time,
like
but
Toa is like really fun and like like I feel like the build that me and Neil collabed on is just it's probably like 95% there. There's like a couple tweaks and a couple ratios that you can mess around with.
Sure.
It's like it's almost 100% perfect, and
Yeah,
like we barely. I think he may have whiffed like maybe once or twice the whole like 2 days.
yeah. The whole 2 days I only whipped once.
That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think on mine because the my ratios were a lot different. I think I probably whiffed like maybe like 4 times both day one and top cut. So you can show like just changing the ratios like added that much more consistency to the front side.
Right, right.
That's
And
insane.
that was really important to me because you don't get any draws on the backside. So you need every card you
Yeah,
can get. Between your one
yeah.
drops drawing, between Vegeta giving you cards, like you need everything you can get because you're not getting anything later in the game.
Exactly. Like the turns that you do whiff, you need those whiffs to be purposeful. Like, oh, I see a 7 drop mirror, but I know I have like one charged and one in hand. Okay, I'm gonna purposely whiff this time. You know?
Exactly.
But
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. So, needless to say, I don't know how comfortable you felt about the deck going into Columbus, Isaiah, but Neil, you felt pretty good going into
For the most
Richmond?
part,
yeah,
I literally spent like the week leading up to it, so like the week in between Columbus and Richmond, I was like, all right, I need to narrow down my four deck choices, and then I narrowed it down to two, and then I just jammed a bunch of games with Toa, and I lost a bunch of
yeah,
games with Toa. But like every single, but that's the thing. Like Toa is actually a really hard deck to play because you have to have
yes,
everything set up. So
mhm,
that like you need that practice. You can't just I mean, sure, anyone can just take the deck and just show up and just win, but like this deck in particular, you need to make sure that like your seven drops are where they need to be, that Toa is
yeah,
where it needs to be, that that you like mulligan correctly for every single matchup.
yeah,
It's kind of ridiculous all the micromanaging you kind of have to do.
yeah. Because I think like it even boils down to like how hard like when is the right time to play the time regulator because like there are times like against Kid or like turn 2 and turn 3 you need to potentially have like 10 cards in your warp going into their turn. So it's like, do I not shuffle back with regulator? Do I shuffle back with regulator? When I use the power burst, do I grab the one drop? Do I not grab the one drop? Like there's there's like little room for error to play a deck like Toa.
Yeah,
And I think that's why
and
that's why you don't see too many people or you see like one or two in top cuts
yeah,
because
and
those are the people that are making the least amount of errors.
right. It's very high skill, high reward. So like one little mistake can snowball to you just losing the game on the spot. And the same thing on the flip side. It's just like every single thing you do right, you just snowball so far that it's just hard for your
Yeah,
opponent to come back.
exactly.
It's that very tempo based.
Ah, sounds sweet.
It is a lot of fun though.
Yeah. It sounds like a
Yeah,
magic deck in all honesty. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's 100% a magic deck. That was the
yeah,
main reason that I played it. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna put two cards under my deck, draw two, Toki Toki shuffle. That's a magic deck.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like you keep talking about it. I'm like I should really just play this deck because I really like Magic, but the price is a little too high for me to
yeah.
play. So this is
Mhm.
just like make the investment, just buy Vegetas and then get over it. But
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
being honest with you, like the Cheetos are probably currently the best investment you can make in the game right now.
Yeah,
You said
like with
Vegetas
the
are the
next
best
set,
investment.
one
Yeah,
of
currently right now, like he's one of, if not the best investment you can make in the game. Because once you
yeah,
have a playset, you're pretty much set for any overall base deck for from the past onto.
yeah, and especially with set seven, like black leaders are super pushed.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
oh
like
yeah.
Demigura plus Toki Toki City is probably
Bro.
like if not like a very strong tier 1 leader, he becomes like at least a tier like 1.5 or tier 2.
Oh, we're breaking that deck. I'm already
Oh
looking at that
yeah,
right now.
I was testing last night. I was playing a really janky I don't even want to say it. I was playing a really really janky Goku Black deck that would like ramp and then you'd like play mass replication, make a bunch of tokens, and
hmm,
then play Kikino to neg them, and then replace the mass replication with M2 so you can swing with them. It was crazy. Yeah, I know.
oh yeah,
It didn't go too well. But my friend was playing Demigra and he was playing Toki Toki City and I was just it was insane. I was like, wow, this is really rough. And
Yeah,
like the Vegeta put in a lot of work, and that the big play where he just goes and plays two overwhelm cards in one turn, you're just like, oh man,
yeah.
what is going
And
on?
see, and that's the thing too that a lot of people don't understand. Like when it comes to leaders that use overwhelm, there's like you're gonna see a lot more like really high skilled players using like black leaders because they take so much like more skill to play than your normal blue leader. So I can put into like there's just so much that goes into everything.
Yeah, a lot of decks we've had in the past, you just kind of get
It,
you don't get
yeah,
punished.
they have like
You don't get punished for misplaying. Like we've had SS3 the whole time, and you just untap three at the end of your
oh
turn,
yeah
and you don't care.
Super value.
yeah
Mecha, you could play extra cards for free on your opponent's turn. It's just
yep
been that type
you
of
got
thing. So yeah,
exactly
yeah. Even Soul Striker, you can untap one, two energy, have your bean opened,
yeah
whatever. The game was a little different back then,
exactly like
but
yeah
yeah,
like and Demigro is one of those leaders that takes even more skill to play because you don't have access to color except for black.
yeah, you're just stuck.
So,
So
yeah, so you have to make it like your deck building has to be like on point when you build like for Demigod or black leaders because you don't have the to splash a lot of those extra colors.
yeah, it
Yeah, let
definitely.
alone put a sideboard together.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
definitely going to be interesting moving forward, and it looks like they just keep releasing more and more support for black, which is really exciting because these decks look amazing.
yeah,
They feel like
hmm
magic decks, so
yeah,
I think that's sweet. We need more of that in this game, in all honesty. But
yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
let
set seven, I think is not the it's not a set four where they introduce an entire like archetype or an entire mechanic like swap where it changes the entire like format and introduces like a whole deck that just takes over 100%. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
this is
one of
more
those
of a
things where like
supplemental set.
yeah, like
yeah,
it gave every color like counterplays. It gave every color like really good negates. Like it's one of those sets that's like designed for a really good main set that's for support. Like
yeah.
it makes the game. Yeah, set seven is the interactive set
I think it's a
minus like
really good
Kayak and
set
Goku.
moving forward. I think this is the best set we'll see for like moving the game forward past,
Yeah,
a lot of the toxic
that's like
stuff we had. Like minus Killy Zone, that was really awful. Shugesh was
yeah,
awful. Like we started seeing them, ban these huge problem cards that made the game really toxic, and then we're seeing more
right,
interaction with counterplay. So it's really exciting.
yeah,
I'm hopeful for the game. I don't know about you guys, but
Oh no, I'm
oh yeah.
stoked.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not a fan of them power creeping the hell out of full power, or was it full power energy with that the gate?
yeah,
It's like basically a full power energy you can activate from each weapon. I'm like,
yeah. That's
all right,
crazy.
guys, cool.
That's crazy. All right,
Yeah,
all right. So moving on from that, Neil has had a finals appearance. He's had a finals experience, I guess we'll call it. he came into the Discord, the 3xG Discord, and I think you messaged and you're like, "Sorry guys, the nerves got to me. I couldn't do it," or something like that. Or I
It was
couldn't.
something like that.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of that. I don't think it was I couldn't do it, but you definitely said the nerves affected how you played. I think we've all actually been in the finals. That's interesting. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know if you guys want to one at a time, both share all of our experiences of playing in the finals. Like what goes through your head? I don't know. I think it'll be
Um,
good to
I,
cover, but it's like really weird.
I
But
mean, how I think like because when I was on stream, at Charlotte, that was my first time actually being on stream, and
wow.
I was on stream. Yeah, I was on stream from top eight all the way to finals. Like they didn't move me at all.
Oh,
So like
okay.
yeah, like that was my first time like playing out a full. Well, no, I played out top cuts before, but I was never on stream.
Yeah.
And the nerves are there, and some people handle it differently. Like, for me personally, I handle like stressful situations a lot better than others. But you are stressed because you got cameras watching you, you got cameras in your face, like in one angle, you got another camera behind you, you got a judge sitting next to you, you got
Yeah.
people rooting for you from the sidelines. It's just a crazy jumbled mess. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That kind
and
of
kind of.
no, no, go ahead.
I was sorry. I was just gonna add on that I basically had a similar experience. It was like it's my first time on stream. Like I've been in those chat rooms. Everybody is a straight savage. So that was like the
oh,
first thing that was on my mind. Was just like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna mess up on stream, and they're never gonna let me live it down. So that was kind of what was going on in my mind. It was like I need to make sure I like clenched up because like I can't make a single mistake, and then me
mhm,
trying to make sure that I don't make a mistake, I just made all the mistakes possible.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you also have to think about how long you've been playing. I mean, I know personally in DC, we were playing for 11, 12 hours at that point. I was shot.
yeah.
I mean, misplays were bound to happen. Like, my opponent
Right.
shuffled his drop area back into his deck when I Zenoed him. So it was
Whoa.
just, it would,
Oh,
dude, yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad.
I
But
remember that.
stuff like that
oh
happens,
yeah,
though, man. It just
I mean,
does.
yeah.
it's not like you know picked a card out of your war, shuffled it, and then present it to your opponent.
Yeah,
Not-
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
was bad.
I think like, oh, mine was definitely like when I played against. I think top. It was top four against that slug dude, and I don't know why. I completely blanked out in tunnel vision. I charged a Kid Goku, and then I played my Kid Goku into his preemptive strike, and I was just like, I looked in my hand, and I was like, I don't have another Kid Goku or a ball. I'm like, why did I charge this Kid Goku? I'm like, what am I doing?
No, but I think the people what Neil said about the chats is I don't think some of these people understand how long and how tired you are after playing.
Yeah,
Like being on stream is exhausting. I don't know about you
it's
guys,
very
but it's
stressful,
exhausting. It's super
it
stressful.
really is.
Like you have
and
so
I was
much
stressed out
noise. Ugh.
the moment that I
Hmm.
entered in Top Cut in the previous event. I was like, hold on a second. I'm Toa. They're gonna want me to stream like every single round. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because the open was still going on, they didn't. Because like my opponent was Travis and he was playing Pan. So I was like for sure, it's like, oh, we're just gonna be here all day with either one of us. So
yeah. And see, like that was another thing too. Like I think the only difference between I think maybe Neil's and yours, Corbin, was my top cut was from literally like the full day of playing because we played at Charlotte.
Yeah.
Sunday was the singles event. Yeah, and so
it's
I
very
played the
competitive.
full like yeah, I played like the full I think 5 or 6 rounds of Swiss, and then I did the full top 16 all the way to the finals too.
Yeah. So that's the same thing that happened for me in DC. We played 7 rounds of Swiss and then it cut to top 8, I
Yeah,
think. And then we just played it out right away. I didn't get back to my hotel until 2 a.m. It was it was
yeah,
just
and see that was
ridiculous.
yeah, and I think after the finals, like we just left the venue and drove straight back to Georgia, so that was like another 4 hour drive, like on
That's
top of
crazy.
after playing the whole day. Like
Yeah.
we didn't get back until maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, 'cause I remember we were driving home and someone messaged me and they're like, "Yo, Isaiah's on stream. He's in top 8." I was like, "Yo, lit." I was like, "Now I don't feel bad 'cause I lost to him." So we were all watching it, but yeah. Neil, how was it for you?
Yeah.
Was it one straight day? I think it was one straight day, right?
It wasn't.
Oh
It
no,
was
you
two,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it was really weird because for whatever reason they cut it to only 4 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
was
We don't have to go on to
we don't yeah, we don't yeah, we
that. We don't have to
yeah.
cover that. Uh
But see, I think the but we did stay up like almost the entire drive up there, so we were basically exhausted from like the drive before, so we lucked up that the tournament started at like 12 or 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and so we basically drove all the way there. I got like maybe a half hour sleep before the event, and we just rode right in to doing the round. And so like
Yeah,
when I went into my last match, I was like, all right, I'm at table 4, I'm undefeated. This tournament's pretty weird, but I'm pretty sure whether I win or lose, I get at the top 16. So I wasn't too worried about it.
but yeah,
So
that
I was
was.
able to like ease up a little bit after that.
But I mean, just still, just playing like top 16, like just playing like in the top cut in general with like because there was a very large amount of like good players there
Right.
at uh at Richmond. So
Yeah,
like even if you got like sweep the night before, you know that almost every opponent that you play against in Top Cut, like, cause this Top Cut had like both Hill twins, Sublet, Travis, I think it had who was it, Butters. Like, we had
Yeah.
like a
it
lot
was
of really
crazy. It was really
well known
crazy.
players. Yeah, so like on top of like you having to play on stream, make sure your plays are good unless you're because you're gonna be like straight pounded. You gotta like play to the best of your ability against your opponents because you know that they're top players and they're not gonna make mistakes either.
Yeah,
Exactly. And not only the top players, but they're like top players in in playing the deck that they specialize in.
Exactly.
yeah.
Because like
That's pretty
Sublet is like
freaky.
the U7 players, like Travis is the Pan player, and like Butters is one of the two the Janemba players. So it was like really like scary to
Yeah,
like just look at it. It's like all right. And again, the Hillsons are just the Hillsons. They're just like beasts at whatever deck they play. So like it
exactly.
was just like all over the place. It was just like, oh my god.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think the simplest piece of advice you can give someone going into Top Cut is just stay calm. You played those rounds of Swiss.
Yeah,
Sure, you had like nail biting games where you get, super nervous, but you just have to carry like what you did from Swiss into Top Cut. And sometimes people,
yeah,
I don't know, they freak out. It's kind of weird, but it's totally
yeah,
understandable.
One
yeah.
thing that
I
really
mean,
helped
yeah,
me was that like as soon as the round was done, like the next round was just ready to go. So I didn't even have time to like think or process of just like what goes on. I just had to like, all right, we just gotta focus again, just play the next match.
exactly. But, yeah,
All right. So, like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long. So, I think we're going to end it here. You guys can do your shout outs. The floor is
I
yours.
think we
You
I
did
think
yours in
we
the
both
beginning.
honestly have the same shout outs.
Oh, well, if
Pretty
you guys want to
much.
do them together, go for it. Also, just
Uh,
quick, but I will be posting. Neil, do you have your deck profile up somewhere?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
okay. Just send me the link and then I'm gonna put it in the description of this video. So if you're looking for
Sure.
that, it'll be down in the description. And the floor is yours.
yeah, I think you know, to let Neil have the floor because, he just had the best placing and the second place. I don't want to overshadow him, so I'll let him do all the
No,
shout
it's
outs.
fine.
All right, floor is yours,
I
Neil.
mean, you can chime in if you need to, but I mean, shout out to Team Dabbers for helping us out and making sure that we got what we need to make sure that we get to the events that we go to. The Dabbers LLC YouTube page. That's where all of our stuff is usually going to be. Um, I know. Shout out to Eric for being an amazing opponent, and pretty much everyone in top 16 that I played. Shout out to Butters and Travis. They were amazing opponents too, and really really cool. Anyone else you want to add, Isaiah?
I guess shout outs definitely like to Kyle, Nam, Sam. Those are our buddies, our other
Yeah,
teammates.
as a teammates, like putting us through the gauntlet and just jamming games in every day is
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes. They always have that little screenshot of me telling them I'm not gonna play trash decks when I think of a trash deck. Um, I think I mean yeah, other than that, like, just the typical, definitely shout out to, Scrub fam, 3XG, Corbin for, helping us out and doing the podcast and stuff.
Nah, you guys are doing wonders for me.
um,
I appreciate it though.
yeah, but I think that's it for us. Oh, I don't know if we're allowed, if if we're not allowed to say this, you can just edit it out, whatever. But we are also potentially going to be starting our own not podcast, but Patreon.
I know I wanted it that.
So
Y'all are good.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll be starting our own Patreon, pretty soon, having, some type of content on there as well. So we'll definitely keep up with 3X and have some cheap tiers for everybody as well. So you
Yeah.
can be a part of both of them. Have some dollars and twos and threes for everybody. So you can be a part of both of our tiers and we can do collabs.
Yo, I'm so down. Let's do it.
Oh, bet,
You
bet.
got me hooked already. All right. Well, is that all, guys?
I think that's about it for
Yeah,
me.
that's it for us.
All right. So, thank you to both of you for doing this again. Really appreciate you guys taking out the time. And that's it. Next episode is probably going to be with Android and Eggman. I gotta definitely see. Might be something else going on in between that. But thanks to both of you again, and have a great day, everybody. All right, Neil, go for it.
Okay, bye.